Welcome to Your Favorite Show, the show where if God watches college television, it's the show he's watching. I'm your host, Julian Librizzi, and we have a great show for you this week. This is our first episode, so if you're watching us in the future, we've probably grown exponentially as a show. With that being said, speaking of something that has grown exponentially, Donald Trump. As a political satire show, we kind of have to mention him at some point, so fuck it, let's get this over with now. We won't talk about his policies, yet. Instead, can we all marvel at Trump's ability to unite people? As he put it,
I really can bring people together. A lot of people would say it's the exact opposite, but I really unify, I bring people together. I get along with people, I've always gotten along with people. I'll get along with Democrats, with Republicans, with liberals, with conservatives, and that's what we need in this country. We have to bring it together because it's very divided.
And Donald Trump is right. Side note, that's a sentence I'd never thought I'd say in 2016. Anyway, Trump has a point. It seems that Trump can unite everyone, except his own party. Let's just take a listen to what members of the Republican National Security Committee said. They said, and I quote, "We have disagreed with one another on many issues, including the Iraq War and intervention in Syria. We're united in our opposition to a Donald Trump presidency." Damn, bruh. You know you're not liked when even the people who are supposed to support you don't fuck with you. Trump is sort of like that one rich prick that you have in your group of friends who you don't really like, but he has a lot of money, the key to his parents' liquor cabinet, and the fob to his old man's new Corvette. He's an ass, but he's an ass with a lot of shit, no pun intended. We're on the edge of our seats to see if he tries to step to that one friend who everybody knows not to mess with. Trump obviously doesn't have the keys, or for that matter the fobs, to the Republican Party's heart. With more on this, here's our freshman correspondent, Megan Ozog.
Thanks, Julian. I'm coming to you live from Trump's brain.
Really?
I can tell you that there is a lot of chat around here about a brokered convention.
A brokered convention?
Yes, Julian, a brokered convention. Basically, the only thing standing in Trump's way from receiving the Republican nomination. While Trump continues to dominate the polls in the elections, if Cruz and John Kasich collectively receive enough delegates over the next few months, the party leadership can nominate a completely new candidate as the Republican presidential nominee during the Republican National Convention.
Megan, how can this actually happen? Wasn't the last Republican brokered convention almost 100 years ago?
Yes, sir. It hasn't happened since 1948, but the Republican Party has realized they were victims of presidential version of beer goggles. At the end of a long power drought, they saw a candidate at the end of the bar who looked like they could provide a spark. I mean, sure, his hair might have seemed like the remains of a troubled child's stress toy, and his tiny hands might have been better suited for a Keebler elf. Now it's morning, and the light shows who Trump's true looks and personality really are. The Republican Party is just trying to get him out of the damn room.
Well put. Megan Ozog, everybody. We'll have more on the story as it continues to develop. And now we move on to a segment that we like to call the very important news of the week. Once again, we're joined by Megan Ozog. Wow, you got back from Trump's brain pretty quickly.
Thanks, Julian. I have my ways.
Two Australian men became internet sensations this week after driving their Jeep SUV into a river to go fishing when they realized they didn't exactly have a boat.
A pair of brothers from Pennsylvania on a Florida vacation had two winning tickets for the Powerball. James Stockless had the winning ticket and received over $291 million, while his brother Bob Stockless won a whopping $7. In related news, a Pennsylvania mother has a new favorite son.
Ohio State Patrol found $232,000 worth of cocaine this week, stashed in some altered shoes. Damn, Daniel, back at it again with the white fans.
Scuba diver sues a Florida power plant after getting sucked into a pipe that led into the plant. Honestly, he was probably mad that he went through all that trauma and didn't even get superpowers.
California police are still looking for a woman who led cops through a high-speed chase in a Scooby-Doo mystery machine. I knew those Scooby snacks weren't just cookies.
We're pleased to report that DePauw has announced the next president of the school, Dr. Mark McCoy, the former head of DePauw School of Music. In other news, School of Music students' morale has skyrocketed now that they aren't exclusively under the watch of Warden McCoy.
Finally tonight, we turn to a somehow more divided, disorganized, and corrupt organization than the Republican Party, FIFA.
On February 26, 2016, FIFA members held the second round of voting to replace embattled former President Sepp Blatter.
All the ballots were counted. Gianni Infantino was declared the new president, to defeating Sheikh Shamin bin Ibrahim Al Khalifa by a vote of 115 to 88.
Now you may be wondering, who is this guy? And so are a lot of people. Infantino wasn't predicted to be FIFA's new president by expert insiders until very recently. This guy wasn't even in the race until Michael Platini, his boss and heavy favorite for the position, was suspended and subsequently banned from FIFA for 6 years for receiving disloyal payment from Blatter back in 2011.
At least, it's nice to see FIFA taking a positive step away from the investigations and scandals it has been undergoing. And Infantino could not be more unlike Blatter. For starters, Infantino was born a whole 6 miles away from Blatter's hometown.
On top of that, the new president strays far, far away from Blatter's reputation of lavish overspending. In fact, Infantino only spent $750,000 of UEFA's money traveling the world before his election. Although in his defense, at least the campaign spending didn't go to waste because, for him, at least he won. Jeb Bush, we're talking to you.
However, shocking as it may be, Infantino was without a doubt better of the two candidates for the position. Sheikh Samin's campaign for presidency was rocked in the weeks leading up to the election, when various reports accused the Bahraini royal of repeated human rights violations since 2011. Multiple human rights organizations have accused Sheikh Samin of identifying pro-democracy protesters for punishment and, even worse, being a member on a committee specifically assembled and purposed to do just that.
Mr. Sheikh actually admitted to meeting with this committee, but went on to state that no formal business has been held. Nice try, Mr. Sheikh, but that's not exactly how you're supposed to deny involvement with human rights violations. You're basically saying, well, we wanted to round up and punish everyone who opposed us, but we didn't actually get around to doing it. We got to human rights violations second base. On a more serious note, while we may not know the direction of Infantino will take to FIFA, we can only hope that it's a world away from the era of scandal and abuse of power that we've seen in the recent years.
But at least Infantino, to quote Australian football columnist and former player Craig Foster, is not Sheikh Samin. And that's our show. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, I'm your host, Julian Librizzi.
And I'm Megan Ozog.
And we wish you a good night.